What's going on, YouTube? I'm back. I haven't made a video in a couple months, so I figured I would go out, grab some new gadgets, and do a video for you guys. Yesterday I went out to the Apple store. I picked up the iPad mini, which is on the left, and I have the iPad 4, which is on the right. Both of which are amazing tablets. I have never been a huge Apple fan. I didn't even own an iPad until maybe 4 months ago. I bought the iPad 2, and then I had it for maybe 2 weeks, and I figured, I'll upgrade to the iPad 3, and I loved it. Don't get me wrong, I'm a die-hard Android fan, but as far as tablets go, Apple has it together. They know what they're doing, and this proves it right here, the iPad mini. It doesn't have the retina display like the iPad 3 and the iPad 4, but with the shrunken down display, it looks like a retina display. It's 7.9 inches as opposed to 9.7 inches. But when you take that 7.9 inches and you have a resolution of 1024 by 768, it looks like a retina display. It is so crisp, and the brightness isn't even all the way up right now. It's just so crisp and clean. The one thing that you'll notice is different with the iPad mini, the iPad 4, and the iPhone 5. If you try to plug in the device with an old charger, you're going to say, what the heck is this? It's because it's not going to fit. Apple came out with a new charging port that's very similar to the micro USB. It's called the Lightning Charge. They did away with the 30-pin connectors. I don't know if they have any plans for releasing an iPod Touch with the Lightning Charge. I know on the iPhone 5, the iPad Mini, and the iPad 4, they all have the Lightning Charge, which is great. Last night after I got these out of the box and was going to bed, it was dark in the room. My wife was sleeping. I didn't even have to turn on the light as I used to do if I was plugging in my iPad 3, because the plug had to go in a certain way, and half the time I ended up turning the light on just to see how the damn thing went in. With the Lightning Charge, it's a very small adapter, and it can go in two ways. There is no certain way that it has to go in. It can go in, like this, or it can go in like that. It doesn't matter. They're the same on both sides of the charger. As far as the processors go, both of these are clocking 1 gigahertz. However, the iPad mini is running the A5 processor, and the iPad 4 is running the A6X processor. They're both dual core. The iPad mini is powering the PowerVR SGX MP4, and the same as the iPad 4, which is the PowerVR SGX MP4 graphics processor. Now, the iPad 4 wins when it comes to memory, being that it has 1 gigabyte of memory, and the iPad mini only has 512 megabytes, half as much as the iPad 4. But a lot is being packed in this little package right here. It has the 16 gigabytes. This is the Wi-Fi model. I opted not to go with the cellular data just because I do have, I have 2 Verizon accounts, both of which are grandfathered on the unlimited data plan. And both of my devices are rooted where I'll always have a hotspot on me no matter what. So that's what's great about just going with the Wi-Fi model. No matter where I go, I can still have internet on my tablet. I would much rather carry around the iPad mini than the iPad 4, just because it's more feasible to carry this around than it's not. If you look at them both side by side, some people would say I'm being a little too picky, but that's a huge difference right there. You could almost fit the iPad mini in your pocket, and with the iPad 4, you almost need a laptop or notebook case to carry it around. So if I'm going on a trip, I would definitely stick with the iPad mini. It's just much more feasible, and everything that you can do on the iPad 4 and any other iPad, you can do on the iPad mini. The front-facing camera, it has the 1.2 megapixel camera, which the iPad 4 has as well. And they both have the 5 megapixel rear camera. As far as the Wi-Fi goes, they both support the dual band 802.11. That's A, B, G, and N. They both support that, and they both support Bluetooth 4.0. Now, when comparing this, the new iPad Mini to something Android-based, like I guess the only tablet that would be comparable in size would be the Nexus 7 or a Kindle Fire, but I'll go with the Nexus 7 because I have one right here on hand. And when you look at the size, let me see if I can line both of them up. Okay, when you look at the size between both tablets, you'll notice that the iPad Mini is definitely wider than the Nexus. And everything, the touch of the iPad Mini is just smoother than the Nexus. It's like a lag that the Nexus has. If I can try to bring up the same web page on both devices to see which one loads it first. But since my tripod is broke on my camera, it's not really going to be a good comparison. But I'll try to do a site that has a lot of content on it. Okay, I'm going to do CNN on both devices. Let's see if I could do this. The Nexus actually loaded it faster, but you'll see as I'm scrolling, it's kind of choppy. But there's been huge improvements with the Android tablets. We have the Nexus 10, which is coming out. As far as the phones go, you got the Nexus 4 that's coming out. But the overall improvements that have been done on the Android side, it's amazing. Because when you get a device such as, let's see, I got one right here. Here's a Motorola Xoom. And this is, you could see the responsiveness on the screen is just, it's not there, and when it is there, it's a very choppy feel to it. But Android, they've been making tablets for a couple of years now, and when they first came out, it was a nightmare. But now if I had the new Nexus 10 here, it would be comparable to the iPad 4. I've been on it before, and that's the truth. But something like the Motorola Xoom, it's good for if you absolutely have no other choice and you need to get on the internet, and this is the only device that you had, that's fine. They work great. But if you are just getting interested in possibly buying a tablet, don't go the cheap route to say, oh, I can get a good deal on a Motorola Xoom, even though you probably can. Just know that with the advancements in technology, even the Nexus 7 far exceeds the Motorola Xoom as far as performance. And in my opinion, the iPad Mini far exceeds the Nexus 7. Just with overall, even though that the CNN webpage came up faster on the Nexus, but you can just, I don't know if the camera's showing it, the screen is just more vivid on the iPad Mini, in my opinion. Maybe it's my eyes, but I'll try to do a different site here. Let me think of one with a lot of content. Microsoft. And that's a tablet that I'm going to be doing a review on soon, is the Microsoft Surface. Okay, let's see if I can hit these at the same time. The Nexus, it won again, so it looks like the Nexus, as far as the overall processing for the web pages, it looks like the Nexus may be faster, but the overall visual experience is definitely more vivid on the iPad mini. So I wouldn't mind waiting that extra tenth of a second for a page to load if it meant, the overall clarity and the vividness of the picture. I'll do one more site. We'll try Yahoo. And there, the Nexus. I think it's done. I don't know why the pages are different. You know why? I think the Nexus is actually loading a mobile view. It is. And the iPad is loading a tablet view. I can go back and forth and compare them all day and, say, oh, the iPad won this one, the Nexus won that one. Bottom line is, I think the iPad mini outperforms the Nexus 7 overall, even though the Nexus may... You've seen the Google Street View, where you can actually look all around, up, down, left, right. That is built into the... I believe it's running the Jelly Bean. I'm not sure which version is on the Nexus 10. But that is definitely something that you're going to have to check out. As soon as I get one, I'm going to post a review on it. So the bottom line here, if you don't think $329 is bad for a tablet, go with the iPad mini. If your budget is around $250, go with the Nexus 7. The Nexus 7 is a great tablet that, in the Play Store, there's millions of apps that you can download for free. With the iPad mini, you don't have as much freedom as you do with the Android as far as downloading apps, because with the Android you can download apps outside of the market. As with any iPad, any Apple product, they restrict you to download in their app store. And that's when things come into play, like jailbreaking and stuff like that. On Android you can do your similar stuff. You can root the phone, but that's, it's different concept for different things. Rooting the phone is just, or tablet, is just taking ownership of it so you have access to everything that's on the system. Jailbreaking is, from my understanding, just makes it so you can install basically third-party software, or outside of the App Store you can download free apps as opposed to buying them in the App Store. With Android, you don't have to jailbreak it. You don't even have to root it to get free apps. You can browse the web, and if there's an app that's available to download, you download it. That's one thing I do like about Android. I love it. I don't like it, I love it. And it's on a overall experience. Overall, I would choose Android. Out of the tablets that I just showed you, I'm sticking with the iPad mini. Maybe I'll carry both of them around. I don't know. But as soon as I get my hands on a Microsoft Surface and a Nexus 10, I will post a video of both of them side by side. And I'll even throw the iPad 4 in there, and I'll do a comparison between all three of those flagship tablets. And we'll see who comes out on top. Thanks for checking out my videos, guys. And special announcement, subscribe to my videos. I will be giving away one of these tablets. I'm not sure when I'm going to do it. It might be before Thanksgiving. It might be just after. Maybe a Black Friday event. But you're going to have to subscribe and comment in the section below. And then who knows? It might be you that wins. Alright guys. Take care. Bye.